It's a very kind introduction. I appreciate it. Thank you, Colin. And thank you, Tom. Thank you for having me, guys. It's an honor. It's a pleasure to be here. I wanted to point out one thing before I get started. There's 5 lovely seats up here, including 2 next to my wife. So you can't get a better seat than that. If you're standing in the back and you want, there's quite a few seats. I always like to make sure, because I know it might be hard to see all the detail on the slides and that kind of stuff, that you can download and see these slides online. So if you go to bit.ly/mightynudge, bit.ly/mighty nudge, you can download the slides. You can see them on SlideShare. They even work on mobile devices. SlideShare is a great platform for that. All right, we don't have a ton of time, so I'm going to take you on a little bit of a journey. I'm going to talk about some SEO stuff. I'm going to talk about social media. I'll talk about some conversion rate optimization, all sorts of inbound web marketing content here. But first, I want to take you across the Atlantic to a state in the US called Minnesota. And in Minnesota, the state government was finding a problem that I'm sure you don't have here in Ireland because, of course, people here are very responsible. But in the US, we have this problem with tax dodgers. So it happens sometimes. It's frustrating. But in Minnesota specifically, the government there was realizing, boy, there's about 7% of the population, and we cannot seem to get them to pay their taxes on time and in full. And so the government thought, well, we'll try some messaging. We're going to try some different ways of approaching this problem. And one of the first ones was they sent out information. They ran some advertising campaigns saying, hey, you know what? Tax dodging is costing your state millions of dollars. Then the response was nada. So they tried again. They're relentless. We're relentless in the US. This is just how it goes. How about saying, well, your taxes go to excellent works. They're building schools. They're building hospitals. They're building roads. This is an important thing for your community. Not going to work. And so they tried to get into the minds of the people who are not paying their taxes, and they discovered there was one big issue going on, right? Essentially, these folks who didn't pay their taxes thought, I am just like everyone else. Everyone cheats on their taxes. This is not true. In fact, when the government then sent out messaging that 93% of Minnesotans pay their taxes in full and on time, that number jumped to 97%. Those people who had previously been tax dodgers said, oh, wait, other people in this state usually pay their taxes? I will join them, right? Big penalties didn't stop them from being tax dodgers. Knowing that the money went to good works didn't stop them. It was the simple messaging that most people like you in this state pay their taxes. This is strange to me, right? There's like these tiny little psychological elements that can push us to make different decisions. And advertisers and marketers like us can use these. I'll give you a couple other examples. This power of social conformity, right, of saying I want to be like other people, is one of the nudges that I'm going to be using in this presentation, but there's some more. So I'll take you to California, which, as you know, is a beautiful, gorgeous state filled with movie stars and people who vomit instead of eating breakfast. It's sad. It's very tragic. And if you go there, and you look like me, you're going to feel bad about yourself, which is frustrating too. But California has a big problem with landfills. Right? There's just a ton of garbage, and there's a lot of landfills, particularly in the Los Angeles area. And so there, again, some folks working on the ecological side of things in government and in private organizations were stumped on how they could get people to act responsibly. Because this, I'm sure you guys have seen lots of these around, right? There's a recycle bin and there's a garbage bin. And people are taking all the stuff that they should be putting here and putting it in here. Sons of guns. Man, very, very problematic. In fact, it was so rampant that landfills were getting overfilled with material that could be recycled. And the government thought, well, we could try and separate it ourselves, and they do still a little bit. But they found a tiny little nudge, the smallest kind of nudge you could imagine, that changed behavior dramatically, massively. In fact, it's so small you might not even notice when I show you. You ready? Do you see the change? Look at this. Garbage, landfill, landfill. Just changing the name, just the name on the bin, caused people to shift their behavior. This is insanity. Imagine yourselves as rational human beings. I know, challenging, right? I'm kidding. Don't make fun of the Irish in Ireland, Rand. That's not good. That's not going to get you anywhere, right? But imagine yourself being faced by this problem and looking and saying, oh, you know, I was going to take this newspaper and throw it in this bin, but now that it's called landfill, I'm rethinking it. I'm changing my mind. Incredible. Incredible that we can use tiny naming conventions to make big changes. So I want to talk to you about one more. And ladies, I apologize. If you'd like, you can put on earmuffs for this portion. I need to speak very frankly to the gentleman in the room. Gentlemen, we both know, you and I, that there's a problem. This problem is called the men's bathroom. If you have visited the men's bathroom, you have likely had many an unpleasant experience. Now, if you go into a women's restroom, which I have accidentally on a couple occasions, there's like fairies and unicorns, rainbows, couches, there's like perfumes everywhere. It's beautiful. Women are incredibly responsible when it comes to the hygiene of restrooms. Men, what are we doing, guys? Really? Do we need to cause so much pain to this guy? Have you ever, I mean, it's not right. Now, you would think that this is not something that needs any type of nudging. But I will show you a very effective nudging strategy that has helped. Do you see that? That is not a fly. It's just painted on. It's just painted on. And what happens when we see a fly painted on our urinals? Ladies, I apologize. I know this subject matter is tough to talk about at 10 a.m. in the morning. Where I'm from, it's like 3 a.m., so it's fine. I need a Guinness, by the way. So this changes behavior massively and makes this guy's job incredibly easier. It shouldn't be this way. I mean, it definitely should not be this way, but yet it works. Tiny little, what we'd call on the web, UX tweaks, makes a huge difference in behavior. This is what I like to call the psychology of the nudge. So human beings have this choice architecture. And one of the interesting parts of behavioral psychology, and there's lots of good books that you can read on this topic, I'll recommend one later, is that there are certain types of systems, automatic systems, that trump our reflective systems. Meaning, when we logically think about, am I going to urinate in this nice bowl that has been provided for me, or will I be irresponsible and create a mess? We think, well, of course, I will be a responsible individual. And yet, as we know from the data, this is not how we truly behave. It's going to be great because, like, at the end of today, the men's rooms here are going to be spotless, and the janitors are going to be going, what happened? This is so weird. It's very different. So these automatic systems trump reflective system. And some signals, changing wording to landfill, right, saying that most citizens pay their taxes on time and in full, some signals are more effective than others in triggering the kinds of behavior that we might be seeking. And I think we can use this in the marketing world. So, a lot of the time when I talk about SEO, I find that there's a lot of frustration because many folks in the audience have had experiences with the SEO profession, with people they've contracted with, diving into the process that have not been positive. And for that, I apologize. I think the SEO world is filled with wonderful people who do incredibly excellent work, and a few bad apples have unfortunately spoiled the bunch for a lot of folks. Can I just ask you to raise your hand if you have had a less than superb experience with SEO in the past? Less than superb experience with SEO? Oh my gosh. Well, Bravo to the Irish SEOs then. That's excellent. There's only a handful of hands up. That's excellent. A big problem there has been, as you guys are aware, right? So we actually saw this in the UK last week when Google banned Interflora and shut down, right, all of their SEO and their ability to appear in search results because they had done some what I'd call bludgeoning of the algorithm, right? They messed with stuff they should not have been messing with. And that happens in social too, right? People would go and they'd repeat keywords, they'd stuff them all over the place, and you'd read a page and you'd go, why? Why does it have to look like this? Why does it have to be like this? Why can't we have a natural experience that people actually enjoy? Do I really need to see the word hotels 15 times on the page and all these variations? And of course the answer is no, but this is a way to bludgeon Google's algorithm, right? People would have heavy-handed internal links. I'm sure you've seen this. You scroll to the bottom of a page, there's a footer, it's filled with all these keywords repeated, pointed at every link on the page or in the top, and you're thinking, this is not user experience architecture. There's no one who's thinking about me, the person who's trying to actually use the website. This is getting really annoying. Aggressive external links, this is what Interflora got banned for, right? And this kind of behavior happens even today in large quantities, right? There's huge networks. There was just a Russian link network that was shut down 2 weeks ago that was massive, and there's a lot of, I would say, a massive amount of websites in Russia that are suddenly panicking, and people are posting all over forums. It's fascinating to see. But those aggressive external linking behaviors, that's bludgeoning an algorithm. That's saying, I know that Google thinks it's important when other people link to me, therefore I'm going to go get a link by hook or by crook, no matter how I can. Abusing social behavior. This is something that is tragic, but we can see it on Twitter a lot. You go and you look at a Twitter profile and you see, wow, that guy has 200,000 followers. That's amazing. Oh, but he has like 116,000 that he's following, and he just does this thing where, uses something like this auto-follow software where he just follows everybody he can, and anybody who doesn't follow him back, he drops them and tries to, game the system essentially. And this is not authentic marketing. This is not nudging. This is bludgeoning. I see this when we're trying to get shares. Mashable is a good site. They are. But I don't know why I need to see a bunch of share options here and then a bunch down the sidebar. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see a bunch more. And there's some on the left-hand sidebar. It's overwhelming. I don't need that many calls to action to tweet something. If I like your article, I will tweet it. Don't worry. How about you worry about making the article great? Oh God, my least favorite one in the world. Drives me bananas. By the way, one of the things I can't stand and apologies, I know that there's good privacy reasons, but one of the things I can't stand when I come to Ireland is visiting websites, and then they pop up and say, do you know you're about to get cookied? Yes, I know I'm about to get cookied. I'm on the internet. It would be like saying, oh, do you realize that you are on a road and other cars are here? Yes, I'm driving. I know. Thank you. It's good. Right? Why do you have to interrupt the flow? Why do you have to put these overlays, these advertisements? If I want to subscribe to your blog or read your advertisement, I promise you, you will know about it. You don't have to bludgeon me. The marketing of the future, in my opinion, especially on the web, is about nudging people, nudging search engines, not about bludgeoning, right? We want to nudge, subtly nudge Bing and Google to rank our pages through the right sorts of signals in authentic kinds of ways. That's where their algorithms are going anyway, right? We want to nudge users to click our listings by having great markup, by using things like video XML sitemap so we get that nice video snippet next to it, by using rel author, which puts a picture of us next to a listing, right? By having a great title and a meta description so that our listing looks attractive and seems to answer the user's query. We want to nudge tweeters to follow us by sharing good, authentic material that will make people want to listen to what we have to say, not by auto-following them. We want to nudge our blog readers by saying, hey, we have some excellent content, and by the way, it might be useful or valuable for you to share this, right? And same thing with Facebook fans. This, and I'll present some specific tactics, but this is how I believe marketing of the future is going to go. We don't buy, we don't beg, as adorable as it is, and we don't bludgeon. Have you heard of American football? It's super fun to watch. So,